Today we want to introduce you to the ideal employee. This employee feeds sows and gilts on time, separates them into groups, knows when they are in heat, keeps sows and gilts in ideal body condition, and is always at work.
Whether you are building new or remodeling an existing farm, the Nedap electronic sow feeder works well to enable individual pig care in group gestation housing. Nedap Velos is designed to handle large-scale, multi-site pig operations and offers major improvements in ease of operation and serviceability. Thorough planning and a correct implementation ensure successful use of electronic sow feeding in group housing.
That's what this video is about, giving you the best practice tips for success. Now let's see what it takes to get started with Nedap Velos. In this video, we will illustrate the best standard operating procedures on training sows and gilts. Let's get started with a summary of how the system will work once sows and gilts are trained.
Once a day, trained gilts and sows will go into the feeding station and get their programmed feed amount. Each sow or gilt will get what she needs to reach and maintain ideal condition. In the same area, the sow or gilt has the opportunity to get exposure to a boar. The heat detector records the amount of time and intensity each day that the female spends with the boar, thus giving us an indication whether they are in heat or not. Gilts or sows in heat will be marked and reported.
Let's go back to the beginning. What do we need to do to get sows and gilts trained? Let's start with the necessary preparations.
Getting started. Plan ahead. That's one of the best tips we can give you. Getting these sows and gilts trained is going to take some patience. Our goal is to feed sows and gilts accurately and on time, separate them into groups, and know when sows and gilts are in heat. End result will be sows and gilts in ideal condition. Let's talk about timing. We can train the sows and gilts before insemination and from 28 days after insemination until 3 weeks before farrowing. Do not attempt to train from inseminating until 28 days of gestation. Ideally train before or after this time period. Do not attempt to train just weaned sows. Their willingness to train is not sufficient. The next part of planning ahead is getting the feed station set up. The feeding strategy prior to training makes a difference. Weeks before, including sows or gilts into group housing, we need to start feeding animals once a day. In this once-a-day feed, be sure to use the same feed that will be used in group housing. This makes the training process easier. At least 24 hours prior to training, move the untrained sows or gilts to the training station. Do not feed them for at least 24 hours before starting. It is not necessary to close off the training station. An untrained sow or gilt may or may not enter on her own. Most of them will experience a fast. The next day, you are ready to start.
There are some best practices related to the feed station itself that will help you train sows and gilts.
When training gilts or small sows, use the adjustable sidewalls to narrow the feed station. A comfortable width that conforms to the gilt or sow's physical size stimulates an optimal walkthrough and prevents turning in the station. For the training of gilts only, move the entrance gate closer to the feed trough, which will also help adapt the length of the station to the size of the gilts. This will help prevent two gilts from being in the station at one time. Let's talk about the physical preparation of the training area. Divide pens. Another good tip, especially when you are first starting training, is to divide the pen with gating between the entrance and exit gate of the feed station. This helps employees determine which animals have made it through the feed station and those that may need help. Sufficient light. Be sure there is sufficient light over the feed stations both during the day and at night. Adequate lighting encourages sows to enter the system and provides more time for all the sows to go through the system. Let's talk about tagging with an electronic identification device, EID. EID tags are essential for the computer to identify the individual sows. Attaching these to each sow is fairly simple. Before you start training, we want you to get all animals set up with an EID. How do you properly prepare for tagging? Write down the individual animal number on the male part of the tag. Be sure to use the appropriate tag marker. Read the responder number and write it down on your list. This list will contain the individual animal numbers and the corresponding responder number. When this newly tagged animal goes through the station for the first time, they will appear as unknown responders and generate an unknown responder list. How do you tag correctly? First, depress the spring clip to load the female part of the EID. Insert the female EID. Slip the male tag on the needle. Spray or dip the jaws in an antiseptic or disinfecting solution. Attach the EID tag. It is very important that the EID tag be placed in the middle of the right ear. Realize that your farm will likely be tagging the left ear with the individual animal number. There will be no EID on the left ear. The EID will be on the right ear. Should an animal come through with a hole in their ear, do not attach the tag in that hole. Make a new piercing. Inspect placement after tagging to ensure retention and sufficient space between the ear and the EID tag for proper healing. Computer settings.
Let's talk about setting up the computer. There are 4 steps we need to go through.
New animals need additional time to access the sow feed station. For training only, we will increase the maximum gate open and accessing time to 60 seconds. All new animals will appear as unknown responders. They will be fed according to a specific feed strategy. On new systems, this is Feed Strategy 99, Unknown Responders. To speed up the training process, we want to initially keep the sows hungry. Temporarily lower the amount of feed in Feed Strategy 99 to 1 kilogram the first day. When starting a new installation, reduce the feed speed of Feed Strategy 99 to 100 grams per minute. This is especially important when training gilts. The feed start time denotes the end of one feed cycle and the beginning of another. This is set at the farm's discretion. The recommended time is close to the end of the day.